My question tonight is, what if every company had a chief social science officer? Someone whose primary job it is to take all of the knowledge that we have about human behavior and psychological theory and put it directly into the hands of employees and leaders to make the right decisions when they are encountering people challenges. The world is hungry for this kind of insight from psychologists. Look at all these New York Times bestsellers. People are reading books written by organizational behaviorists and psychologists, and they're trying to find their place in the world and understand themselves through these theories. But IO psychologists, though we have this knowledge, tend not to play this role. We're comfortably nestled in the bosom of human resources, and we don't connect directly with leaders and employees as much as we could. Now, at Google, we sort of stumbled unexpectedly into the power of giving theory directly into the hands of leaders and employees when we introduced the concepts of unconscious bias and presented the research on psychological safety. These concepts gave voice to things that employees were concerned about, that they were thinking about, and they've become cultural phenomena, not simply HR practices. So a chief social science officer is responsible for repeatedly and intentionally introducing these kinds of insights to organizations. Now, the job description is going to look a little different from the description that most of us have right now in our jobs. First of all, this is a theory job. It's not an analytics job. It's not a research job. The role is to take theory and apply it to people problems. And that's all people problems. So perhaps we have to instill confidence in our investors. Perhaps we have to make sure our business products are actually meeting the needs of our users, or we're tackling a culture problem. The CSSO is on the job, but it means that they are not going to report up to the head of HR. They're going to report directly to the CEO, and they're going to be in an advisory capacity. So let's pretend we are all transformed into CSSOs right now. What kinds of theories are we sitting on that, if we strategically implanted them in an organization, could have transformative change like psychological safety did at Google? Sounds simple, but emotional labor. If service organizations really knew what this was and what we've learned about it, it could transform the way they think about their job and make changes to it. Most leaders don't know that there's such a thing as a psychological contract, that employees are joining their organizations with expectations of what they'll get, and that delta between their expectations and the actuality is driving counterproductive behaviors and attitudes. And instead of acknowledging this, we lament the role that millennials are playing in our organizations, or talking about entitlement when it's really contract breach. And finally, this may look a little weird, but the CSSO is going to introduce the concept of human-robot interaction, because the world of work is changing and technology is playing a huge role in that, and we as psychologists can help organizations adapt to it.